Let's look on the atmosphere editor inside the Vue 2015. So when we go with atmospheres, we can load it already existing atmospheres from the collection. We can also save atmospheres. We can add clouds, rain, snow. We can look on this. But what we're most interested in is in atmosphere editor. This editor allowed us to modify the settings of the lighting and atmosphere distribution, as well as some effect. So first, when we open in our editor, you also notice it does not have it OK or X button. So it means this can be independently flow without affecting any other work I can do inside the Vue. So if you have multiple screens, you can take terrain editor, material editor, or atmosphere editor, dock on different screen or dock inside the applications and access anytime when you want it. So let's look what we have on top. We have the new atmosphere loaded, save. We have it add, and this way we can add additional cloud layer. We have it forbid animations for the atmospheres. Also, we have it options on different atmosphere models. Volumetric standard, we have it standard spectral, so it's a two spectral atmospheres. One which allowed to create with all option for volumetric, similar to standard, but it's a kind of calculating more natural render way. And we'll look on both of them what's different. We also have a volumetric, environment mapping, and a standard. Standard is one of the earliest atmospheres. It's very fast on render, but produce less accurate result. Environmental mapping, we can use the HDRI lighting image to apply to our atmosphere. And volumetric, we can apply earlier version where we can calculate density of the atmospheres. Again, this is kind of early progression of the versions. Volumetric is latest atmosphere and it's most accurate. But many times I find out myself switching to the standard spectral because some properties I can control in standard that is not sensitive or accessible in photometrics for me. But again, you can override them in photometrics. So we'll look on those ones. Let's start with our standard atmosphere. Okay, and you'll notice we have additional tabs, so we'll look on them. First, we have a sun tab. In the sun, we can create a sun color. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me go ahead, select clouds and remove them so we don't have any. Okay, and next we'll go to select our terrain. We'll create object, sphere, and we'll just place it right here. So it's kind of help us to see some of those lighting effects. Okay, notice right here we have a sun color. It's come predefined, but we always can edit. And we edit not just one color, we edit color map. So in this case, we can select one single color or we can add it. And it will be working with a decay of the sun color. They also have options of the real world position for the sun, and this will apply to all models. So in this case, if you know precisely what time of day, you can select the location. Okay, we can select what time currently, time of date, and it will be put at the position of the sun precisely in this area. This is very useful options when you do like add set extension to specific filming or something and you want to integrate it. So this is work very well with that, with locations, and add a proper light positioning and sun position. I found out kind of very surprising how often I use this. Even recreating what they call golden hours or photo shooting, I can go inside, recreate of the sun position, and it will look perfect. So also you have the options apply daylight savings, which is adjust on reduce increase 1 hour. And you also can animate date and time separately if you have animations enabled. You can also switch to the custom, where all the way you can just modify by simply dragging and adjusting the positions with the slider your sun. We can also attach camera to the sun to camera direction. This will provide, remember, the sun is parallel lighting. It's going only in parallel directional light. So attached to the camera, it's mean anytime when we move camera and I rotate, the sun is rotating with me, providing lighting. Just look on this, for example, sphere, and you can see as I rotate camera, the lights is rotating same. In some cases, it's useful when you create a camera and you want to move with the light's persistence. But again, by default, it's disabled because most times sun does not move with the camera. You also have the ability of creating increase, decrease sun size. So let's take our sun, we'll go put it up front. Okay, just up front right here, the camera, so we can preview. Okay, you can see sun. And we can increase from the big size of the sun. You can see right here. Okay. To the invisible or small size. So if we have it 0, it's invisible. We can increase. And you can also see this decay kind of nicely on our sun as we create a coloring. Okay, next we have it also sunlight makes by cloud, so if we want influence or not. The same things if we're going to environmental mapping on a light. You notice environmental, we don't have sun because in this case we need it preloaded inside the environmental map, which is provided for us sun and lighting position. In a volumetric, we have its same properties as well in a standard and photometric. Okay, so let's switch to photometric right now. Oops, sorry, standard. Okay, and photometric. So you can see it's the same thing. So let's go back to our standard preview. Okay, so next what we have right here on a standard atmosphere, it's a lighting options. And we have a different lighting models. They're a little bit different from atmosphere models because they apply just to how light's coming and distributed. So again, we can start from the standard, which is the most simplest to render, but is the fastest. Global ambience, we add a constant ambient occlusion. And the difference between global ambience and ambient occlusion, because with ambient occlusion, it's like creating different points in a sky like light source and calculating based from light source more appropriate lighting for the environment. The global illuminations model is improved over ambient occlusion by tracing light rates all the way to the sky dome to ensure the object and ambient shadows is correct. And of course the global radiosity, it's most accurate, which calculated not just the lights, it's also calculated lights from the object to the ground and from the ground in different ways. So it's a more advanced model, and mostly we will render just with using global radiosity. However, it's take the longer time, and sometimes if you want just a preview, maybe you don't care about lighting, just how the animation work, how composition, you maybe even want to jump on a standard lighting with a standard atmosphere. It will render super fast and you can preview your animations. And when you render for the good quality, you want to go back to global radiosity, because on this case you will render lights bouncing from the objects, from the light source, and affecting by the atmosphere. So also notice when we switch to global radiosity, we have an indirect lighting, indirect atmosphere, and optimized for outdoor rendering. When we render inside the building, usually I disable these two options. It's provide more accurate render inside the buildings, but for the default outside, we want to check them in. Also notice on the ambient occlusions, our range is enabled, and be sure this range set only a bit higher, so it will provide for better calculations. Okay, the next side we have a smooth shadow, which is allowed from global lightings provide 33 by default. You can increase this, which provide better effect, but again it will increase time. Artificial ambience, this is provide when you work with a, for example, ambient occlusion, and it will create some artificial lightings. It's like increase those light bulbs in a sky, increasing effect of all of them. Okay, we have a sky dome lighting gain, so we can increase if you want pop-up, or actually You also can decrease if you need it. Overall sky color. So we can modify this to create alien effect or maybe darker. Okay, and we have it also quality boost for our lighting model. Again, better is making slower or faster, so it's whatever balance you want to find. We also have it options for the global lighting adjustments, which is we increase overall lighting on our object. Okay, and let me go, you know what, just slightly decrease this. So preview right here. So we can increase, make it lighter and brighter. Sometimes some effect maybe does not look like it's working. Be sure in your main camera you disable off the exposure, because that will try to compensate for some lighting. Okay, on this case, when you modify, you can see overall lighting on effect right there, going brighter, darker. We also have a light balance between ambience or a sunlight, effect on an ambient light if we're using uniform from every directions or from the sky, affecting this. And we also have a light color and ambient light. So the light color you can preset if you want warmer, but usually when I work with ambient light, you notice I have it desaturated, darker, so it will provide kind of for me a little bit more natural decay colors. But again, this is a personal preference. You can set how you feel it's work better for you. So let me reset the cloud. Okay, next we have it apply settings to all lights. If we select all of this in small sources or directional, additional directional lights, only to the sunlight, to the sky and the clouds if we want to apply as well. Okay, also we have it auto decay. Currently it's enabled, and this is add the decay on the lighting as sun going down. So we can increase amount of the decay, and you can notice right here how much reddish it's applied, and also decay rate, how fast it's happening. Okay, next options we'll look in our next tutorial.